Close your eyes for just a moment. Place your hand over your heart. Feel it beating steady, faithful, persistent, never once asking your permission, never once pausing because the bank account was low, never once stopping because someone told you that you were not enough. That heart beats by the grace of the same infinite intelligence that flung the stars into the deep black vault of night and set the oceans roaring at the edges of continents. That same power, the very power that breathes through every living thing, the power that causes seeds to split open in the dark of the earth and push green life upward toward a sun. They have never seen that power lives in you. It has always lived in you. And today, that power is going to speak through you. A new decree, a new law, a new divine appointment. Today you are going to say, with every atom of your being, aligned and awake, and blazing with the fire of spiritual certainty, I am no longer available for lack. The universe has already paid my debts. Say it again. Let it settle into the deep places. I am no longer available for lack. The universe has already paid my debts. Feel how different those words are from anything your old life has taught you to say. Feel how they cut against every inherited belief, every morning of anxiety, every sleepless night of counting and calculating and wondering how you were going to make it. Those old words, those whispered fears, those midnight panics, those conversations with yourself about not having enough, they were a language you were taught. They were not born in you. They were handed to you, like an ill-fitting coat, by people who themselves inherited it from people before them, stretching all the way back through generations of souls who never knew that a different language was available, that a different law could govern their lives, that the universe was not, and has never been, the cruel and withholding thing that poverty thought made it out to be. Florence Scovel Shinn walked the streets of New York City in the early years of the 20th century, knowing something that most of the world around her had entirely forgotten. She knew that the invisible realm is more real than anything you can touch with your hands or measure with your eyes. She knew that every condition of your outer life, every bill, every debt, every empty space where abundance should have been, was simply a reflection, a picture projected outward by the inner beliefs you had been carrying, most of them unconsciously, most of them absorbed before you were old enough to question them. And she knew, with the same certainty that she knew the sun would rise, that those inner beliefs could be changed, that new words could be spoken, that new laws could be set in motion, that the same universe which had faithfully delivered the harvest of scarcity to the one who planted scarcity thoughts would, with absolute equal faithfulness, deliver the harvest of unlimited abundance to the one who dared to plant something new. And so today, you are planting something new. Today you are not merely reading words on a page or listening to sounds in the air. Today you are participating in a sacred act of spiritual legislation. You are rewriting the laws that govern your financial life. You are standing in the court of divine mind and making your declaration, and the universe which never sleeps, which never doubts, which never says too late or too much, or not for you, the universe is listening, and it is already moving in response. Let us begin with the truth about lack, because before you can leave something behind, you must see it clearly for what it truly is. Lack is not a fact. Lack is not a law of nature. Lack is not the natural condition of human life on this planet. This earth is a place of staggering, almost incomprehensible abundance. Look at the natural world, and you will see it everywhere. A single apple tree does not produce one apple, it produces hundreds. A single flower does not release one seed into the wind, it releases thousands. The ocean does not offer one wave and then rest. It offers wave after wave after wave, in a rhythm so ancient and so faithful that you could set your clock by it. Nature does not know scarcity. Nature knows only abundance, overflow, generous excess, life multiplying and multiplying and multiplying until it covers every available surface with green and gold and color and fragrance and song. Every autumn tree drops not one leaf but 10,000, each one a meditation on letting go and trusting the season. Every rain cloud releases not a single drop but a billion, and the earth drinks deeply and is grateful and puts forth green life in response. This is the nature of the universe. This is the pattern of the divine. Not hoarding, not rationing, not measuring, but giving, always giving, lavishly and beautifully, and without keeping any account. The scarcity you have experienced in your life is not nature's truth. It is a thought. It is a belief. It is an agreement you made, perhaps without even knowing you were making it, with a worldview that said, "There is not enough. You are not enough. The good things go to other people. You must struggle for every penny. Money is hard. Life is hard. This is just the way things are." And because that agreement was made in the deep subconscious places of your mind, because it was written there in the early years before your critical faculties were fully developed, it has operated like a program, running silently in the background of your life, shaping your choices, dimming your courage, closing doors before you even had the chance to knock on them, and producing with mechanical, impersonal precision the outer conditions that matched the inner belief. But here is the glory of this moment. Here is the thing that changes everything. You can withdraw from that agreement. You can cancel that contract. You can stand up in the full height of your spiritual stature and say, "I no longer agree to this. I no longer accept this as my truth. I no longer give my energy, my attention, my faith, or my words to this story of lack. I am done. I am finished. I am closing that chapter with such finality and such grace that it cannot reopen. Because I am no longer available for lack. The universe has already paid my debts." When Florence taught her students about debt, she did not approach it the way the world approaches it, with shame, with panic, with the grinding anxiety of someone trapped beneath a weight they cannot lift. She approached it the way a spiritual master approaches every outer condition, as a picture, as an appearance, as a shadow cast by a belief that, once changed, cannot hold. She said that the debts you see in your outer world are simply the outer manifestation of an inner sense of spiritual debt, a belief somewhere in your consciousness that you owe something to the universe, that you have not yet earned your good, that there is an outstanding balance between you and life that must be settled before you are allowed to prosper. And she said, "That is not the truth. The truth is that you came into this world with an account that was already full. The truth is that you are not a debtor to the universe. You are a beloved child of the Most High, and the Most High does not lend, it gives, freely, completely, without interest and without conditions. The universe has already paid your debts. They are cleared in the invisible realm, settled in the mind of God, canceled by the grace that has been extended to you since before you drew your first breath. Your work, your only work, is to accept that this is true, to believe it before you see it, to speak it before it is visible in your physical world, to walk through your days with the quiet, unshakable inner knowing of someone who has already received the good news, who already knows the verdict, who already understands that the matter is settled, done, complete, finished, and that all that remains is for the outer world to catch up with what is already true in the spiritual realm. This is not wishful thinking. This is not the naive optimism of someone who does not understand how the world works. This is, in fact, the highest and most sophisticated understanding of how the world works, because the world works from the inside out, always, without exception. Every great teacher who has walked this earth has said the same thing in different words: as within, so without, as above, so below. Whatsoever things you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. The kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of abundance, the kingdom of all good is within you. It does not come from outside. It radiates outward from the center of your own consciousness, and it takes the shape, always, of whatever you most deeply believe. So, what do you most deeply believe? That is the question. Not what you say you believe when someone asks. Not the affirmations you repeat with the surface of your mind while the deeper part is rolling its eyes. But the deep, true, bone-level belief that has been operating in the basement of your consciousness all this time. What does it say? Does it say, I am safe, I am provided for, I am the beloved child of an abundant universe that is always on my side? Or does it say, very quietly, very persistently, like a dripping tap, that you have learned to sleep through, but that never actually stops? There is not enough. I am behind. I am drowning. I do not know how this is going to work out. Be honest. You are safe here. This is the moment of the great turning. Because you cannot turn away from something you have not first looked at directly and clearly and with complete compassion for yourself. So look, see the old belief, acknowledge it, thank it, even, for trying to protect you in the only way it knew, by keeping you small enough to stay safe, by keeping your expectations low enough that you would never be devastated by their failure to materialize. That old poverty belief did what it knew how to do, but it does not know what you know now. It does not understand what you understand in this moment. And so, gently but completely, and with absolute finality, you are going to lay it down. You are going to say, thank you for your service, and you are dismissed. I am no longer available for lack. Thank you for watching. I am no longer available for the belief that my good is limited, that my supply is uncertain, that my financial life must be a source of anxiety and struggle and shame. I am no longer available for the midnight calculations, for the tight chest when the bills arrive, for the small and frightened voice that says, but how? I release all of this now. I release it completely. I release it with love and without regret, and in its place, I now consciously, deliberately, joyfully install the truth. The universe has already paid my debts. My good is established in divine mind. My supply is infinite and eternal. I am provided for, completely, perfectly, and abundantly, now and always. Now let us talk about what it means to be truly unavailable for lack, because this is more than a declaration you make once and forget. This is a new way of living. This is a new standard you set for your inner world, a new threshold you establish for the thoughts and words and beliefs you allow to take up residence in your consciousness. Being unavailable for lack means that when the thought comes, and it will come, because old programs do not dissolve in a single moment, they dissolve in the consistent, patient, courageous application of new truth. When the thought comes that says, you cannot afford it, you are behind, this will never work, other people have what you want, but you are different. You are the exception. Prosperity is not really for people like you. When that thought comes, you do not entertain it. You do not sit down with it and serve it tea and let it make itself comfortable in the living room of your mind. You see it for what it is, an old broadcast from an old station that you have permanently changed. And you change the channel, immediately, without drama, without guilt, without a long internal argument. You simply return to the truth. I am no longer available for lack. The universe has already paid my debts. Florence was extraordinarily practical about this. She did not float in spiritual abstractions while her students struggled with real bills and real fears. She gave them specific words to speak. She gave them affirmations that were precise and powerful and loaded with spiritual authority. She taught them to speak to their debts the way a person of faith speaks to any mountain. Not with trembling, not with despair, not with the voice of someone who believes the mountain is stronger than they are, but with the calm, authoritative voice of someone who knows that the power within them is infinitely greater than any outer condition. Speak to your debts. Speak to your lack. Speak to your empty bank account and your overdue notices and your financial fears and say, "You have no power over me. You are the picture of yesterday's belief, and I have a new belief today. You are the harvest of yesterday's seeds, and I have planted new seeds today. You are dissolving. You are clearing. You are making way for the divine abundance that is my birthright, that is already established in the invisible realm, that is even now pressing through every channel and making its way into my visible world. Dissolve. Clear. Be gone. I am no longer available for you." There is a story Florence told again and again in different forms because she had seen it play out so many times in the lives of the men and women who came to her in desperation, certain that their situation was hopeless, certain that no power on earth or in heaven could untangle the financial knots they had wound themselves into. They would come to her with their stories of debt and failure and missed opportunity and inherited poverty and bad luck and bad timing and every manner of outer circumstance that seemed to make abundance impossible. And she would listen, and then she would say, "The situation you are describing is the picture of what has been. It is not the picture of what must be. It is not fixed. It is not permanent. It is not the final verdict." And then she would give them a word to speak, a law to invoke, a truth to stand on, and she would send them away with the instruction to hold to that truth no matter what the outer world continued to show them, no matter how loud the appearances shouted, no matter how long it seemed to take. And those who held on, those who were faithful to the invisible truth, even when every visible thing contradicted it, those people watched their debts dissolve, watched unexpected money arrive from unexpected sources, watched doors open that had seemed permanently shut, watched their lives reorganize themselves around the new belief they had chosen, because the universe always, without fail, reorganizes itself around the new belief of the one who has the courage and the faith and the spiritual fortitude to hold it. This is your story now. This is the turning point. This is the moment from which the rest of your financial life will be dated. Not because something magical is happening outside of you, but because something profoundly, permanently, irreversibly real is happening inside of you. You are choosing a new truth. You are speaking a new word. You are setting a new law in motion. And the universe, faithful, exact, generous, never late and never early, but always perfectly on time, the universe is already responding. Let us speak now about the debts themselves, not with dread, not with shame, not with the clenched jaw and tight chest of someone facing an enemy, but with the clear-eyed spiritual authority of someone who has been given a divine perspective on a human problem. Every debt you carry is a record of a moment when you reached for more than your current belief in your own supply could support. There is no shame in that. It means you desired more than your fear told you was possible. It means some part of you believed in a bigger life, even when the rest of you was not yet aligned with the belief required to bring that bigger life into manifestation without financial strain. And now that you are aligning, now that you are speaking the truth, now that you are withdrawing your consent from the poverty program and installing the abundance program in its place, now those debts become something different. They become the last echoes of an old story. They become the final frames of a chapter that is closing. They become the thing that is dissolving, day by day, through channels seen and unseen, through means expected and unexpected, through the infinite creative intelligence of a universe that knows 10,000 ways to bring about a result that your human mind can only imagine one or two paths toward. The money to clear your debts exists. It exists right now. It exists in the infinite, inexhaustible substance of divine supply, which is the only supply that is real, the only supply that never runs out, the only supply that is perfectly calibrated to every need of every child of the Most High who lives in faith and speaks in truth. Your job is not to figure out where it is coming from. Your job is not to map the route or calculate the timeline. or understand the mechanism. Your job is to know, with the deep, settled, untroubled knowing of the spiritually awakened, that it is coming, that it is already on its way, that the divine order is already established, that what appears as debt in your physical world is already cleared in the spiritual realm, and that the law, faithful, impersonal, exact, is working even now to bring the invisible reality into visible form. I am no longer available for lack. The universe has already paid my debts. This is not a wish. This is not a hope. This is a declaration of spiritual fact, and you must treat it as such. You must speak it as such. You must walk through your days as such. When the bank statement arrives, look at it through the eyes of faith, not fear. See it not as a sentence, but as a temporary picture in a rapidly changing story. When someone asks you how you are doing financially, do not recite the old story of lack and struggle and debt as though it is your permanent identity. You are not your bank balance. You are not your debt total. You are not the sum of your financial history. You are a beloved, chosen, richly provided for child of the living God, and your financial story is in the process of glorious, permanent, irreversible transformation right now. Florence always said that you must not talk about your lack. She was fierce about this, not because she wanted her students to pretend, not because she was asking for some kind of spiritual dishonesty, but because she understood the creative power of the spoken word, with a clarity that most people never achieve. Every time you speak about your lack, you are decreeing more lack. Every time you recite the story of your debt and your struggle and your financial hardship, you are feeding that reality with the most potent creative energy in the universe. Your spoken word, charged with your emotion and your belief and the full force of your attention. You are literally, scientifically, spiritually planting more seeds of the very thing you want to move away from. So stop. Stop telling the story, not because it was not real, not because it did not happen, but because it is no longer the story you are living, because you have a new story now. And the new story begins with these words: I am no longer available for lack. The universe has already paid my debts. Tell that story instead. When your mind wants to rehearse the old narrative, interrupt it and tell the new one. When your mouth wants to open and recite the familiar tale of not enough and too much going out and too little coming in, close it and speak the new decree. When your body wants to tighten with the old anxiety, breathe deeply and let the truth move through you like warm light. I am provided for. I am taken care of. The universe is my source and my supply, and it never runs dry, and it never fails, and it has never once, in the history of creation, told one of its beloved children, "Sorry, there is nothing for you." It has never said that. It will never say that. And it is not saying it to you, even now, even in the midst of whatever appearance you are currently facing. It is saying, I have already handled this. I have already cleared this. I have already made a way. Now align yourself with what I have prepared for you. Speak the word of faith. Hold to the truth. Be still and know that I am God, and I am good, and you are mine, and you are provided for, and the debt is already paid. Do you know what it means to walk in the spirit of someone whose debts are already paid? It means you walk lighter. It means the knot in your chest begins to loosen. It means you sleep differently, not the anxious half-sleep of someone bracing for tomorrow's reckoning, but the deep, peaceful, restorative sleep of someone who has entrusted their financial life to an intelligence so much greater than their own that comparison is almost comical. It means you begin to look at the world differently, not through the narrow, frightened lens of scarcity, always calculating, always measuring, always subtracting, but through the wide, generous, expectant lens of abundance, always noticing the good that is already here, always alert to the new channels that are opening, always ready to receive from whatever direction the universe chooses to send its gifts. And the gifts do come. Florence's students testified to this again and again. Money appearing in ways that defied all rational explanation. Debts canceled without warning by creditors who had shown no previous inclination toward mercy. Unexpected inheritances. Unexpected opportunities. Unexpected checks in the post. Unexpected promotions. Unexpected clients. Unexpected ideas that turned into income. Unexpected connections that turned into abundance. The universe is endlessly creative in its methods of delivery. It does not need your permission to use a particular channel. It does not need your approval of the route it has chosen. It only needs your faith, your willingness to believe that the good is coming even before it arrives, your commitment to holding the spiritual truth, even when the physical appearances have not yet caught up with it. Now I want to speak to you about the specific nature of the poverty mindset, because your heart knows this particular darkness intimately, and the darkness must be named and illuminated before it can be permanently dissolved. The poverty mindset is not simply the condition of having less money than you need. That is a circumstance, and circumstances change with the weather. The poverty mindset is a way of thinking, a way of seeing, a way of being in the world that persists even when circumstances temporarily improve, because it is rooted not in the bank account but in the soul. It is the mindset that calculates before it gives, that hesitates before it receives, that feels guilty when things go well, waiting with that particular tightness for the other shoe to drop. That believes, in some quiet and deeply buried place, that suffering is more spiritually respectable than joy, that struggle is more virtuous than ease, that wanting abundance is somehow greedy or self-indulgent or spiritually suspect. It is the mindset that looks at someone else's blessing and feels diminished rather than inspired. That meets good news, with a caveat. That qualifies every positive development with a yes, but. That cannot simply receive without immediately searching for the catch, because somewhere in its formation, it learned that all gifts have a price attached, that all good things come at a cost, that the universe is fundamentally a place of scarcity, where one person's abundance must come at another's expense. This is the lie that has kept more good people in more financial pain than any economic system or unfortunate circumstance ever could. This is the lie that says, you do not deserve to live well. That says, people like you do not prosper. That says, every time something good comes, something worse is waiting just around the corner to take it away. That says, do not get too comfortable, do not spend freely, do not dream too big, because the fall from high dreams is long and the landing is brutal. These thoughts are not wisdom, they are wounds. They are the scars of generations of real struggle that calcified into beliefs and now masquerade as common sense, as prudence, as realism, when in fact, they are nothing more than the whispered testimony of fear, dressed in the respectable clothing of practicality. Florence Scovel Shinn had no patience with this particular brand of self-sabotage. She pointed out that the universe is not cruel, but that the human mind, when governed by fear and lack thought, becomes its own worst enemy, blocking the very good that the universe is trying to deliver, because the channels are clogged with doubt and unworthiness and the constant low-level prayer of expecting the worst. She said, expect your good. Dare to expect it. Dare to believe that the universe is working for you, not against you, that it is arranging your life toward blessing and not disaster, that every single thing that has happened in your story, even the painful things, even the losses, even the debts and the failures and the heartbreaks, has been leading you here, to this moment, to this awakening, to this declaration, to the place where you finally say with your whole self, I am no longer available for lack. The universe has already paid my debts. Expect the unexpected. This is the instruction that Florence gave, and it is so simple that we almost miss its profound spiritual content. Expect the unexpected. What does this mean? It means, do not limit the ways in which your good can come. Do not decide in advance that it must look a certain way, arrive by a certain route, show up in a particular form. Do not say to the universe, I will receive my abundance, but only if it comes through my job, or through that particular business, or through that one relationship, or in that one specific amount on that one specific timeline. That is not faith. That is control. And control, masquerading as faith, blocks the very good it claims to be expecting. Release your grip on the how and hold firmly only to the what. I am abundantly provided for, my debts are cleared, my financial life is free, whole, blessed, and overflowing. The how is the universe's business. The how belongs to the infinite creative intelligence that is far more imaginative and far more resourceful than your human mind at its most brilliant and inspired. Let the universe surprise you. Let it delight you. Let it send abundance through channels so unexpected and so perfectly designed for you specifically that when you tell the story of how your life changed, you will shake your head in wonder because no one will believe you, and that is entirely fine because you know, and the universe knows, and between the two of you, the truth is perfectly, beautifully, miraculously clear. There is also something vitally important that Florence taught about giving, perhaps the most counterintuitive teaching for someone in financial difficulty, and therefore the most powerful and transformative of all her instructions. She said, "Give. Give when you have it, and give when you fear. You do not. Give freely, give joyfully. Give not from the surplus that the fearful mind hoards against future scarcity, but from the faith of someone who knows that the source of supply is infinite, and that the measure you give is the measure that returns to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Not because giving is a cosmic transaction or a bargain you strike with the universe, but because giving is the outward expression of an inner belief in abundance, and the universe, which reads your inner beliefs far more accurately than it reads your words, responds to that belief with the corresponding harvest. When you give freely, you are declaring with every fiber of your being that you live in an abundant universe and that you are not afraid. And the universe, hearing that declaration made in action rather than merely in words, roars back in agreement and sends the harvest in proportion to the depth of your faith. When you give from a place of genuine faith, when you let money flow freely out of your hands because you truly know, that more is always coming, that the supply is always being replenished, that the divine source from which you draw is never depleted by your drawing, you are making the single most powerful declaration of abundance that a human being can make. You are saying with your actions what you have been saying with your words. I am not afraid. I am not lacking. I am provided for. I live in a universe of inexhaustible supply, and I am completely, absolutely, joyfully available for the full expression of that supply in my life. And so give. Give to causes that move your heart. Tip generously when you can. Speak generous words. Offer your gifts freely. Bless every dollar that passes through your hands with a silent acknowledgement of the divine substance it represents, and release it into the world with gratitude, knowing that in its going out it has set in motion the law of return, and that what comes back will be pressed down and shaken together and running over. This is your practice now. This is your daily work, not the anxious work of trying to force abundance to arrive on your timeline through your strategy by your effort alone, but the quiet, powerful, faith-filled work of holding to the truth, of speaking the decree, of withdrawing your agreement from lack and giving your full agreement to abundance, of being, in every moment and in every conversation and in every thought you choose to entertain, a person who is simply no longer available for the old story, because you are not that person anymore. That person, the one who checked the account with dread, who opened bills with a sinking feeling, who lay awake rehearsing worst-case scenarios, who said yes when they meant no because they were afraid, who made choices from fear rather than faith, who contracted when they should have expanded, who dimmed when they should have blazed, that person is stepping back. And in their place, a new person is stepping forward, someone who knows, someone who has received the word, someone who has made the declaration and means it and will not take it back. Someone who is, from this day forward, genuinely, deeply, joyfully, peacefully, permanently unavailable for lack. I want you now to picture your life 1 year from this moment, if you hold faithfully to this truth. 1 year of waking each morning with the words, I am no longer available for lack. 1 year of speaking to every fearful thought with the authority of the spiritually awake. 1 year of giving freely, expecting joyfully, receiving gratefully, and trusting completely in the intelligence of the universe to handle every detail of your financial life with a wisdom that dwarfs anything your anxious human mind could produce on its best day. 1 year of no longer describing yourself by your debts, no longer identifying with your financial history, no longer allowing the story of yesterday's lack to have any say whatsoever in the story of today's abundance. What does that life look like? Can you see it? Can you feel it? The lightness in your body, where the weight of financial dread used to sit. The clarity in your mind, where the fog of constant financial calculation used to cloud every thought. The joy in your spirit, free at last from the grinding, exhausting, soul-diminishing work of trying to survive on the basis of lack belief alone. Can you see yourself waking up in that life? Can you feel the peace of it, the spaciousness of it, the extraordinary quiet pleasure of a financial life that is no longer a source of terror, but a source of testimony, a living, breathing, daily evidence of what the faithfully spoken word of truth can accomplish in a human life? That life is not a fantasy. It is not reserved for special people or lucky people or people born into different circumstances. It is available to you. It is available right now. It is, in fact, already yours in the invisible realm, already complete, already perfect, already arranged with the loving precision of a universe that has known your name since before you were born and has been working on your behalf since the very first moment of your existence. What is needed, the only thing that is needed, is for you to accept it, to say yes to it, to stop saying no to your own abundance, whether through fear or unworthiness or the inherited poverty thought of 1,000 generations, to finally, gloriously, irrevocably say yes. Yes to abundance, yes to freedom, yes to a life where money flows freely and debts dissolve and needs are met, and joy is not contingent on circumstances, and every morning is a new beginning, and every day carries the quiet certainty of being abundantly provided for by a universe that is, has always been, and always will be, unconditionally and completely on your side. Yes, I receive it. I accept it. I am ready. I am no longer available for lack. The universe has already paid my debts. This is your moment, not yesterday's moment. Yesterday's declaration opened the first door, and it was glorious, and the universe celebrated it with you. But today is a new door. Today is a deeper room. Today is the moment when the declaration goes from your lips all the way down into the marrow of your bones, into the very substrate of your being, into that deep central core of you that nothing and no one and no outer circumstance can ever touch or change or diminish. Let it go there. Let it settle there. Let it take root there in the rich, fertile, receptive soil of your awakened soul, and let it grow into something so large, so deep, so permanent, so luminous and so unassailable, that not a single thought of lack will ever again find purchase in the garden of your consciousness. You are tending a new garden now. You are growing a new harvest. And the seeds you are planting today, in this moment, with these words, with this faith, with this absolute and unshakable willingness to receive those seeds, are the seeds of the most abundant, most beautiful, most deeply satisfying financial life you have ever dared to imagine. You are done with lack. Lack is done with you. That season has ended. That chapter is closed. That story is finished and filed away, and it will not be reopened. And the new story, the one that is already written in the mind of God, the one that the universe has been holding for you since the very beginning, the one that begins with abundance and ends with overflow and is full, page after page after page, with grace and provision and unexpected blessing and miracles, too numerous and too beautifully timed, and too perfectly arranged to ever be explained away as coincidence. That story is yours. Claim it, speak it, live it, love it, walk in it, sleep in it, wake in it, every single morning, with the first breath of the new day. Receive it with open hands and an open heart, and the deep, joyful, untroubled peace of one who knows the truth and will never, under any circumstances, for any reason, in any situation, unknow it again. Let us speak plainly now about something that Florence understood with piercing clarity, and that every soul who has ever wrestled with financial lack needs to hear with their whole heart. Your worthiness is not in question. It has never been in question. The universe does not rank its children. It does not maintain a list of people who deserve abundance and a separate list of people who must first earn it through sufficient suffering or demonstrate their character through enough years of struggle before they are permitted to receive the full measure of their divine inheritance. That is not how the divine works. That is not the nature of the God who clothes the lilies of the field in a glory that Solomon in all his splendor could not match, the God who feeds the ravens, who neither sow nor reap, the God who says, "Ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be opened unto you." The door is already open. It has always been open. The only question has ever been whether you are willing to walk through it. And walking through it requires exactly one thing: the willingness to believe, before you see a single piece of evidence in the outer world, that you are worthy of what waits on the other side. You are worthy not because of what you have done, or what you have achieved, or how hard you have struggled, or how faithfully you have prayed, or how many years you have given to the spiritual path. You are worthy because you exist, because you breathe, because the same divine intelligence that breathes through the galaxies breathes through you, and it would no more withhold abundance from you than the sun would withhold its light from a flower. The sun does not audit the flower's behavior before deciding to shine. It simply shines, and in the shining, the flower blooms. The divine abundance of the universe simply shines toward you, and the one who opens to receive it blooms into their fullest, most beautiful, most prosperous expression. So open fully and without reservation. Receive without apology, without guilt, without the need to justify your desire or shrink your dream to a size that seems more reasonable to the voices that fear has put in your head. You are worthy. You have always been worthy. And this, above all else, is the truth that sets the financial prisoner free. Not more strategy, not more hustle, not more years of sacrifice and self-denial, but the simple, devastating, liberating recognition that the good was never being withheld from you by the universe. It was only ever waiting for you to stop withholding it from yourself. Stop withholding it now, right now, in this moment. Say yes to your good. Say yes to your abundance. Say yes to the completely, perfectly, divinely provided for life that has been prepared for you, and that you are now, at long last, ready to receive. This, then, is the final invitation and the final decree, offered with all the love and all the spiritual authority that the truth commands. Make yourself unavailable for lack in every dimension of your being. Not just in your words, though your words matter enormously and must be guarded with fierce, loving consistency. Not just in your thinking, though your thoughts are the seeds of everything that grows in your life and must be tended with the care of a master gardener, but in your expectations, in your posture, in the quiet assumption that underlies every decision you make and every step you take. Live as one who knows. Move through your days as one who is provided for. Make choices from the consciousness of abundance even before the physical evidence of abundance has fully arrived, because it is precisely that consciousness, that inner, bone-deep, spiritually settled, knowing that creates the conditions in which the physical evidence must, by the immutable operation of universal law, eventually appear. The law does not fail. The law cannot fail. The law has never once failed, and it is operating in your life right now, in this very moment, harvesting the exact crop of the seeds you are planting with your words and your beliefs and your faith. Plant well. Plant abundantly. Plant with the joy and the confidence and the spiritual audacity of someone who knows beyond all shadow of doubt that the harvest is coming, that it is already on its way, that it is, in fact, already here in the invisible realm, awaiting only the perfect moment of its visible manifestation. You are that moment, right now. You are the perfect moment of divine abundance made flesh, made breath, made declaration, made real. I am no longer available for lack. The universe has already paid my debts. I walk in the freedom of one whose account is clear and whose supply is infinite. Divine intelligence is working in my financial affairs right now, this very moment, bringing everything into perfect divine order through channels I know and channels I have not yet imagined. I give freely, I receive freely, and the circulation of divine abundance in my life is perpetual, generous, and gloriously unstoppable. My good cannot be delayed, my supply cannot be withheld, my abundance cannot be diminished. For I am a child of the Most High, and the Most High withholds no good thing from those who walk in faith and speak in truth and receive with gratitude. I am no longer available for lack. I never truly was, and I never will be again. And so it is, and so it shall be. World without end. Amen.